Okay, man, we're live. As usual,
Good, e-
every
good
time I go
evening.
live, yeah, go on. Every time I go live, the the uh, the the wavelength thing gets a bit distorted. So let me just tweak
Tune
it.
it up a little bit. Tweak
Yeah,
it.
the web page. I need to trust it. The web page must sort of move when you go live. You know, a header or something at the top. So there we go. Anyway, cut that all out in the edit. Cool. You see the stream at your end, yeah?
Yeah, I can see it now. 2 viewers.
That'll be me and you.
Well, Mr. Paris, good evening.
Oh, hello. Maybe not. See, at my end, all right, mate. At my end, it just says it still says one viewer. It's absolutely rubbish.
The update.
The dashboard that I'm relying on Twitch. Now it says 2 viewers. It's weird that people
So
can say hi in the chat room before I even know they've joined. So
it's just the way. It's probably the way it's just feeding the information and stuff like that. So,
yeah, possibly.
but you should be, if you're the host or if we're the host, we should see it first, shouldn't we? So,
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm not seeing it, so that's cool. I'm also not seeing the feed, so you'll have to tell me. But yeah, it should just be just the wavelengths of the recording and the thingy. So yeah, right. So we're recording a live podcast episode. So yeah,
episode 20. Dun dun dun.
yeah. Oh, Mr. Paris says there's a glitch in the matrix. Yeah, episode 20. Yeah, it's a podcast episode, so feel free for the comments to come in. We might not get to them straight away, just because it makes my edit harder. Commander Kremen, howdy gents. Hi, Commander Kremen.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, howdy.
Yeah. So yeah.
Also, it's sometimes a bit of delay. About could be a 30, 40-second delay as well when people send messages in and stuff.
Yeah, but also if you start going off on one, you don't remember what it was you said, so it's hard for me to cut it back. I mean, the same for me as well, so it's a bit disjointed. So we'll try and keep focused and then try and find a gap. Okay, man. Let's just run through the news. So we've had an iTunes review since the last episode, and the iTunes review is from Ash Manchester. That's the username. I guess it's a person called Ash from Manchester. And she says, great podcast from 2 fellow Northerners. As a Manchester girl, I love stuff like this. So that's a fantastic review.
Oh, thanks, Ash. I like that.
Just what we want. We're trying to get the local Manchester crowd chatting about the podcast. So we were literally just saying that on the last episode. So that was great. You don't know someone called Ash, do you, Carlos? You've not got them.
I do know someone called Ash, so I'll have to double check if it's her.
Oh, okay.
Or him. I know a couple of people called Ash, but I know a guy called Ash and a girl called Ash, and they do sort of like that kind of stuff.
It says a Manchester girl, so.
Oh, so it's probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll send you a private message, says it her.
Yeah, might have been. Cool. That's it for the news, really, man. Don't have anything else for the final episode. Nothing sort of like standing out. Feels like it's we've only just done episode 19, haven't we? 18, 19, 20 have all been really close together, so
over a 2-week period we literally blitzed it, didn't we? Blitzed it.
Yeah. Commander Kremen saying final episode. Yeah, we're having a break after episode 20, and then we're going to start season 2 in the new year, dude. So yeah. All right, man. So we'll insert jingle, and this is the main bit, and then we'll go for it. Okay. So yeah, this is the last episode for yeah, this is the last episode. Why is it every time I go into professional mode, I can't get my words out? This is the last episode for this season. Carlos, Can you remember those shows when you were kids, like Starsky and Hutch and Buck Rogers in the 25th century?
I do remember him, sort of. Ish.
Sort of. Well, to be honest, they were probably reruns when we watched them, but I've been watching loads of these on Forces TV during lockdown. And they've all got that one show in common. The Clip Show, I think it's called, is the technical name for it, where basically all the cast members sort of recall past events from previous episodes. So they just basically reuse footage that they've already shot. Well, tonight it's just going to be just like that. Well, no, I am joking. We're not going to start playing clips from previous episodes, but we are going to be reviewing our favorite episodes or other episodes we disliked. And yeah, I've got some curveball questions for Carlos, and I'll do my best to answer it myself as well.
And I don't even know what the questions are either, so you might catch me off guard as well. So, which I like them kind of questions as well.
Hopefully, yeah. So we've covered a whole raft of topics from climate change to Corona, Mandela to MK Ultra, and backmasking to 9/11. First question, Carlos. Have you learned anything?
Yeah, massively. I've learned quite a lot, really, in terms of the way people research things, the way people put information out, how information is portrayed, which could be seen as misleading or trying to take you down a different direction. So obviously when we're researching certain subjects, or I'm just recapping on certain areas of, if we're doing a certain podcast and I want to recap on certain things, it's the way I look for information. So yeah, I've learned massively over the last, say, year. We've been doing this since December, so yeah, I've learned massively. It's been eye-opening the way people portray information and how people put information out across different podcasts and different formats as well.
It's I was going to call you a skeptic then, but I'm a skeptic. But as a conspiracy believer, as a tinfoil hat wearer, it's not actually changed your mind on any of the topics we've covered where you've been on the side of the tinfoil when you've been on the other side of the tinfoil. It's not actually changed your mind, though, has it? You've said it's made you think differently, but you've not actually changed your mind. I've not been able to convince you that any of the stuff is a hoax.
No, you've not convinced me, but you've made me think different. You've made me more accountable for what I say or don't say. So if I put information out there, if I'm talking about things which I'm passionate about, or stuff that have come my way through different we're getting through emails or getting through private messages. So the information, I thought, okay, is that correct, or do I need to filter that out, or do I need to research that a little bit more? But yeah, you've not convinced me, but you've made me more accountable, which I prefer that way, because obviously you challenge me in quite a lot of things through the podcast or when we've done the live streams on Twitch. So you've made me more accountable. And yeah, to answer your question, you've not convinced me, but you've made me think different, which that's all I wanted. The question I can ask you, what about yourself? Have you changed anything?
No, I've not. So I think I'm wasting my time and you're wasting your time. But no, I've not really. Because I mean, literally, I saw a quote from Ricky Gervais, literally an hour before recording a podcast, and it's one I've heard before, time and time again. But he basically says, if you burn all the books now, all the made up stories, the religion books, all that, they won't come back. The same stories won't come back in 1,000 years. But he said, science, you burn all your science books, science will come back, because science is repeatable. It's proven, it's repeatable. You'll always get the same numbers. Therefore, people will do the same experiments and come to the same conclusions and the same theories. He says, so if you're basing your beliefs on science, which is what I do, you don't need faith. Whereas all this other stuff, you need some sort of faith in it. So
Stephen Colbert, I think it's Stephen Colbert, he was being interviewed. It's a really good answer, that one. Even the presenter was saying, fantastic answer.
Yeah, you've seen that as well, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's a really good answer, that one.
Also something, like literally a couple of hours ago, Nick shared a video. Hey, we still mention Nick, even though he's I was going to say no longer with us. He sounds like he's bit the COVID bullet, but he's not. He's absolutely live and well, absolutely fine. he's just a bit shy. That's but Nick shared a video with us, didn't he, about the moon? And I know you said, oh, I've made you think differently. But we saw these craft, and this came out earlier this year, and we saw these 3 spaceships traveling across the edge of the moon that someone supposedly recorded. And your answer was, yeah, it looks believable to me. Like, no, not even question it, not even, or you just literally saw these spacecraft. These
I said it.
Spacecraft. I'm not doubting that anything could be any size in space, but you saw it and just went, yeah, it looks all right to me. And then I literally sent you a link with like this guy just debunking loads of different angles on it. So, but yeah.
It's just a lot of people do debunk straight away. I understand science has an answer for a lot of things, but I do think we are quick to debunk things which need question a little bit further. It's like it goes back to Roswell when they said it was did they say it was some kind of air balloon? Where they said it could have been a craft, and then 24 hours later they said it was some kind of air balloon. So that's obviously that's from 1947. Yes, I understand there's things out there we can explain sort of 95, 96, 97% of the stuff. It's that 1%, 2%, 3% we can't explain. And that's where scientists sort of stay away from that 3%. They just go, yeah, not for me. We don't have an answer for that. Come back again. That's the thing where people debunk quite quickly. But when things they can't question, they sort of don't go down that realm. They just leave it alone. That's the bit what annoys me a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Okay then, Carlos. I can't. 20 doesn't sound like a big number, but it's literally taken us from the first podcast. We recorded the first podcast in December. It went out December the 24th, and we're now we're now in October, man. The year's nearly over. We're having a bit of a break because I've got some time off coming up, and I've got a new job. So I don't know what's happening. I'll be all over the place for a little bit till I get settled. As well. Yeah. Then you got Christmas and birthdays and things. I've got a lot of birthdays in October, and November and December. So yeah. It's it's flown, but it also seems like it's taken absolutely ages just to get to episode 20. But do you feel like that?
Yeah, because it's for about 2 or 3 months, we were quite quiet, weren't we? We were just doing it once a month. But then went from that June to sort of like September, where we're doing something like 2 or 3 a week. So yeah, we had that gap. Was it between sort of April to June? We were quite quiet, doing one a month, I think.
I think it was just to start with. We put the first episode out, and it was over 3 weeks before the next episode, and then we got into a rhythm of 2 a week for the audio podcast. And then in June we dipped our toe into Twitch, didn't we?
Twitch.
And then we were like trying to do Twitch twice a week and a podcast every other week. And it did feel to me like, oh, we're just not getting any time off, because you're constantly either researching something or looking for something to talk about, or filming, exactly, or editing. Yeah.
Or fitting, because the first sort of like 3 or 4 months, it was literally, when we do the next podcast, and then from June onwards, we're like, fucking hell, I was like, Andy, it's podcast day. I go, shit, yeah, give me 2 hours. Oh, Carlos, it's Sunday. What? Oh, yeah, it's this Sunday again. And that's the thing. Yeah. It became like a second job, really, which I enjoyed. The researching.
It's not a job if you're having fun.
Not true. If you're having fun, it's not a job. But it's just the thing I enjoyed the most is gathering information and then thinking, yeah, this is the one. I'm going to get Andy. I'm going to get Chandy on this sort of like. But clearly, you've not. You saw that. Yeah, it's not for me. Carlos is full shit. Or I don't believe the moon's made out of cheese. And vice versa. I was saying to you, I was always saying, Andy, what are you doing? Debunking everything. You debunk everything.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's it. I'm like, I've got irrefutable evidence here. They can't deny this, and then you and Nick will always have an answer for it. So, what was your favorite topic then?
I like the Operation Paperclip. That I enjoyed that one. There's about 3 of. I tell you what, there's quite a few.
Was that episode 3? Operation
episode
Paperclip.
3. I enjoyed that one. MK Ultra, I really like that one. The mind control.
All right.
I like the backmasking. I found that was a lot of fun. That one. Was it the psychedelics one as well?
Yeah, there was a
I can't remember which
psychedelics one as
psychedelic.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, there's quite a few more, but they're the ones that stand out for me. Really stand out.
All right,
How about yourself? Which one did you like?
I'll just get the episode numbers for the podcast you just mentioned, then, man, and then I will edit them in. So, yeah, for the listeners, if they've not listened, and this is the first podcast they're coming to, they're starting at the end. See, end of season 1, not the end of the end, but in my laptop can quote with it. So, Operation Paperclip was episode 3.
Backmasking, I said.
Mandela. Did you say Mandela Effect? Oh, Psychedelics was episode 8.
MK Ultra said.
Backmasking was episode 10. MK Ultra was episode 11.
Also, like the coronavirus was just interesting. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but they were just interesting. They were just hot topics, like the Jeffrey Epstein. It's not something like his favorite. It's just so hot. The topic was everybody was talking about it. So I enjoyed them, but that's just because it was the hottest topic on the planet.
Yeah, it was. I'll just answer this and then I'll come back to the chat room. So for me, Carlos, it was definitely, I've got 2 favorites. It was Backmasking, and it was the Mandela Effect. Backmasking, because it was fun to research and get all those clips and do that quiz that I did with you and Nick, and then obviously I was really actually proud of that episode because I edited those audio bits into the podcast, and they came across quite clear when you listened back to them and stuff like that. So I'd really like that. That was a bit of a technical win for me as well. But Mandela, that was really fun to research because it was like it's just one of those fun topics. So talking to Mandela, I've got another one that's come up, Carlos.
Which one's that?
So do you know the film E.T.?
Yes.
You must have seen this, right? Can you remember the famous catchphrase from the dude with the glowing finger?
E.T. phone home. Something like that.
E.T. phone home. Classic phrase. Never said it.
What did he say?
E.T. home phone. He never said E.T. phone home. Yeah, he never said it, mate. Never said it. So yeah, there's another one for Backmasking.
So we just corrected his English,
for
didn't
Mandela. What, mate?
We just corrected his English. That's all we did. So we heard it and then corrected it. So,
but yeah, you watch it in the film. You watch it in the film and you go, "Oh, what was he said? Oh, it sounds better." You know, he was obviously channeling Yoda, wasn't he? He's yeah. Okay, then just going back to the podcast. Hi, Bobby Shafter. He says, "Evening, gents."
Oh, hello, Bobby.
Glad to join us.
Hello, Bobby.
Join us. Mr. Paris says, "Is it a hobby or a passion?" I think
both.
It's
you could say.
Yeah, I think it's
a passion.
Yeah. And just going right back to the start, don't you mean the run out of money episode? I used to hate those on American TV. Yeah, definitely filler episodes. Those weren't they? Just literally like, oh, we've been contracted for 24 episodes. We've only got like 23 decent scripts. Let's make one up.
That's true. Yeah, that's true on them ones.
Yeah,
especially the ones with Friends and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, I don't remember any of them with Friends, but I did see the Buck Rogers one recently. So, and the Starsky Hutch one as well. I say recently. I say this year when I rewatched them. So
a lot of people watching the $6 Million Man. I can't. Who did that?
I don't remember religiously watching that when I was a kid. Yeah, who was
that
the guy?
From the late 80s. Matthew. What say Matthew something or?
No, wasn't he the same guy out of the Fall Guy?
Oh, now you're going back.
Oh, someone in the chat room will say that.
Steve Austin.
Steve Austin. Thanks, Bobby. Steve Austin. Was he the same guy as the Fall Guy? I used to watch Fall Guy. Love that. Fall Guy was great. Bobby.
But that's everybody's going back to that because with Elon Musk talking about Neuralink and obviously AI, a lot of people are going back to the $6 million man. $6 million man. That sounds like petty cash nowadays.
Yeah, Lee. Yeah, it does. Yeah, Lee Majors. That was the actor. Steve Austin was the character on it. Steve Austin was the $6 million man. Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks, Mr. Paris and Bobby. Okay, next question, Carlos.
Yeah, he was the Fall Guy. You were right.
Yeah, Fall Guy.
Bobby,
Yeah,
sorry, Mr. Paris said it.
yeah. I hope that comes back on because I'm gonna watch that Fall Guy. Okay. Next question, Carlos. What is your least favorite episode?
Oh, that's easy. It's Game Changer. That was the about diets, about veganism. That was the hardest subject to, because you and Nick are obviously you're into that kind of industry, that kind of subjects. I was looking into. I just couldn't get my head around it. That's probably my least favorite. I think it was episode 2. I think it is. Yeah,
episode
Game
2,
Changer.
Yeah.
That's the one for me. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's probably your favorite.
It's not my favorite. I liked it. I hadn't watched. I was already a vegetarian, and so was Nick, and I hadn't watched Game Changer. And when you tell people that, oh yeah, you're a vegetarian, they go, oh, have you watched? Is it because you watched Game Changer? So I did like looking into it, but even though I am a vegetarian and want to use that to go, this is why everyone should be a vegetarian. I was debunking it myself. I didn't believe some of the things that they were saying. I think they were.
They were just.
But anyway, listen to the episode. And, yeah,
it was like, I think you and Nick told me to look. So watch.
Had an agenda, didn't they?
What's that? Sorry, Cowspiracy and Game Changer.
Yeah. They had an agenda, didn't they? The people making the film definitely had an agenda. So, I mean, the overall point is, as a species, we're eating too many animals, and the animals take up far too much room. Even this week, I saw someone else quoting stats about it on the TV, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. Something like all wild animals take up like 4% of the earth, and the rest is humans, and which is, I can't remember what the percentage was, but the other percentage was basically livestock, and it was just stupid.
And we are scraping the oceans as well. That I understand. We are completely scraping the oceans.
Yeah, definitely. So my least favorite episode was the 9/11 Twin Towers one.
On paper, it should have been out. On paper, it should have been one of our favorites, but it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. I wasn't proud of the way it came across. Yeah. Sorry. Before I go into this, I don't know whether to mention this, but yeah, Nick's no longer a vegetarian. I don't know, Nick. If you don't want that in the podcast, let me know. I'll take it out.
He's no longer.
Edit. Yeah, no, he's
come back to
eating.
Me.
Yeah, he started eating
cannibalism,
raw flesh again. Yeah.
Why? What changed?
I think he got bit by a zombie and it just turned him. That's why he's not been on the podcast, because he just goes brains. That's all he can say.
Brains.
Yeah.
That's interesting, because he was the one who really tried to convince me to get off flesh.
Yeah.
He was really like, these people who knock on your door, these Jehovah's Witnesses, and says, you need to change. He was, when he used to drive back from your house, it'd be there, then sort of like be a 40-minute drive to mine. Those 40 minutes, he'd be just drilling me about how much meat I eat and stuff like that. So that's interesting, that.
Oh, he's right. Well, I'll have to take that mantle. I reckon he'll be back. He'll be back. I think it's difficult. I mean, I'm in the same position when you've got other people in the house that don't want to eat veggie stuff, even though it's perfectly fine. But there we go. Anyway, probably that half of that won't make the cut. So yeah, the 9/11. Yeah, it's the 9/11 Twin Towers. You're right. On paper, it probably would have been a really good debate. And in the past, me and Nick, I've talked for hours and hours and hours on it, and all my arguments, and I was ready and I was fully prepared for Nick to ask me all the stuff he'd asked me in the last 19 years. Not asked me, he'd thrown at me, shown me, to try and prove that the Twin Towers were some sort of explosive demolition. I had it all prepared to to answer him and say why I think that was wrong, and he didn't want to he didn't ask me. I felt like I had to raise all these situations myself and then debunk them, and it just felt really weird, and it just made that episode, if you listen to it, the flow isn't quite right, and the atmosphere isn't right on it. It was just really weird. So yeah.
Well, so much so that I had to become sort of like, I won't say piggy in the middle, but I said, I'll chair this one because I got the feeling that you two have been talking about this since 2003 or 4, or probably that kind of, because it's like you had unresolved issues. You just like, but I said to you,
they still are.
I said you. Remember, he's saying to both of you. I sent that video 12 years ago. Have you looked at that video? I was like, do you mean talking 12 years ago? It's like I thought clearly there's something going on here. It's like an argument's been going on for literally say 15 years, and I thought this podcast was sort of put it all to rest, but it didn't. It actually made it even more muddier. And obviously, them two podcasts, like you just said, you could sense it in the way you were talking to each other, the way you're cutting each other off, and go, no, listen, just give me, let me finish. It's like I felt like David Dimble in the middle. It's like, just like, okay, you control.
And that's the real reason why Nick had to leave the pot. No, I'm joking. He's actually still here. He's talking to me and Carlos right now, but because I do all the editing, I just cut him out. So... Oh, dear me. Again, that was a joke. Okay, I've got another one, another question, Carlos. These are the curveball ones now, right?
I'm waiting for these ones.
Which episode would you give to someone as a Christmas present? Just name one, not loads of different ones.
Oh, as a Christmas present?
Yeah.
Depends. Here's one for you. If it was to like someone's parents, I'd say backmasking.
Yeah.
If it was someone who wants to think different or wants to something which is thought provoking, I say psychedelics, because
I could have predicted that from you,
because that was we got a sort of insight into the way I think or what's happened and stuff like that. Whereas backmasking, that was sort of like, I won't say it's PG, but it's something easy that your parents could listen to. But the psychedelics one is like people, what? I think if correct me if I'm wrong, but it might have been Kyle who said, "Oh my God, I was walking around Asda, I had to make sure I wasn't high as a in some kind of into dimension and stuff like that." So even Kyle, I think it's Kyle, was saying like he loved that episode, but it was just literally, it was quite trippy. But yeah, so I'll give you one answer, but two answers.
Yeah.
Towards one question.
Oh yeah, you always do. Yeah, and with your mouth, Carlos, none of them are PG. Because swear word, and then also I start swearing when I get annoyed and stuff. So for me, you're probably right. Depends who it is. If they were into like sci-fi and aliens and stuff, I would probably say the Are We Alone episode, which was number.
Yeah, that's good.
Are We Alone was number. Oh, it was number 9. Yeah, Are We Alone episode, which was number 9. But I think just to get the fun bit across, I'd probably say Mandela again, to be honest.
Yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, there was a nice fun one, that. Okie doke.
There was another fun one as well, which is Flat Earth. A couple of people like Flat Earth as well, because they found it quite interesting the way we sort of tried to pick up some subjects. We're not Flat Earthers, but we tried to, I won't say trying to give them credit, but we tried to think why a Flat Earther would be created or where they get the information from.
Yeah, I must give you and Nick some credit. You don't believe in every conspiracy theory. So
no, not every conspiracy.
Yeah. Okay, next question. If you wanted to impress a lady friend, which episode would you tell them to listen to?
Definitely not the psychedelics one.
Oh no, I think that'd be a good one.
Something which is
I know what it'd be with you. It'd be Operation Paperclip with you, mate.
No, but that could be seen quite dark, because obviously you're talking about Nazis and and World War II. I tell you
Yeah,
what,
but
if something
but
like
you want your lady friend to get to know you, and that's probably the best way, isn't it?
that's the best way, yeah. Epstein's quite interesting. The Epstein one we did,
Yeah,
because everybody loves talking about Epstein. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. It just everybody talks about Epstein. Everybody's convinced he was murdered, didn't commit suicide, and obviously with Ghislaine Maxwell being arrested. So everybody's talking about Jeffrey Epstein at the moment. So I'll say the Jeffrey Epstein one.
all right, cool.
Could be wrong.
I'm gonna go back to the chat room for a sec. Bobby Shafter says my favourite was when Carlos went on one with the maths, still waiting for the full story. What episode was that? What episode was that? Your first introduction into the podcast, Bobby? Was that the first one you listened to? Be interesting to see if any, yeah. Oh, there's only 4 people on the chat at the moment, but
it was.
What was the first one you listened to?
It was. Which one was it?
Do you know what it might?
Me some question.
Do you know what it might have been? I think it might have been the intermission episode, because that was the first episode where Nick couldn't make it. So it's the podcast without a number at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called intermission. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah. In between 10 and 11. Yeah. Yeah.
We're asking each other questions, and you asked me questions on 999 makes 1 or something, and I went, what? And it just completely sent me west. And that was a Friday night. Yeah, that's Friday. Well remembered, Bobby. Well remembered.
Yeah. Oh, talking to the chat room. Just got to say hi to Kay Devlin. They followed us yesterday. Hi, just found you guys. Keep up the good work. Thanks for that, Kevin. If you listen on iTunes, give us a review on iTunes. That'd be great. I always say iTunes because you can't really leave reviews on any of the other ones, or I don't have access to them. You can't. Yeah. Yeah. Cheers, Kate.
Bobby says, yeah, it was Andy.
Yeah. I saw that as well. So Mr. Paris as well was. He's mentioned a few good classic shows as well from earlier. Littlest Hobo. Yeah, proper remember that. Yeah, really.
I remember that
really
sad music. Threw me off.
Yeah.
That really threw me off. That so I don't even want to think about it in case I go back into that kind of.
You start crying.
You start crying again. Yeah, it was just. One day I will give. I think to the people listen, I probably give. I'm not going to say I give you the semi-skin version. I'll probably give you the skinned version. And I was telling Andy, Nick, and I was telling my sister, I'll have to do it. I'd probably talk about it later on, but not now. But yeah, it threw me off. The journey lasted about 8, 9, 10 hours, probably the journey. It was long. It was hard. It's the first time in a while I shit myself. What was happening to me? I shit myself. But yeah, we'll talk about it another time, not tonight, in case it happens again.
This might lead on to this next question. So, if your headstone read "The lad from Theory of Conspiracy who famously said ... what would it say?
Carlos Garcia buried alive. That's what it probably means. What did it say?
something you famously said on the podcast.
Oh, I always say, correct me if I'm wrong. I always say that.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. That'll be a good one, man.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Cool.
I always say that. No, it's just one of the things with the podcast. It's like, because you're free flowing and you're saying things. And with the live stream, we've had to completely adapt. With the audio, we've said things where I think, Andy, do you remember that 12-minute section? Delete it. Do not mention that. I seriously don't. And then Nick said the same thing. Obviously you're quite calculated. But there's things where I've said. You said, Carlos, you really want that in? I went, no, yeah, take it out.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I get to listen to it. We'll go into the technical bits anyway, but yeah, I get to listen to it about 4 times over before it even comes out because I'm editing it. So, all right, last curveball question, then I'll get back into some more sensible ones. Right, you can only choose from one of our season 1 episodes, and with it, you can convince the world that your side of the coin was right. Which conspiracy would you choose?
I'll say Are We Alone?
Are We
When,
Alone? The aliens.
the aliens.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I want aliens to be real. I just know they're not. So, for me, I mean, we mentioned it earlier, the 19-year battle I've had with Nick over 9/11 and the towers. I would say it was that, just to turn Nick to, get Nick to take his tinfoil hat off and wake up. But he'll be saying the same about me right now. But I would have said that, but the fact that Corona and the anti-Corona stuff and trying to debunk that over, we've covered it 3 times. Who'd have thought when we started recording this podcast, COVID wasn't even a thing. Wasn't even a
It
thing
wasn't. Yeah,
on December the
didn't
24th.
exist.
Yeah,
Didn't
well,
exist in December.
it might have just existed in China or whatever.
Yeah,
But
correct, in China.
it wasn't in the news or nothing. We weren't aware of it, and then it literally, maybe the podcast started it. I don't know. Maybe we made the podcast out of bats or something. But so for me, it'd be that now, just because we're at the height of this. Everywhere you look on Facebook, people are denying it, and that's I don't know, because I'm tuned into it. That's all I'm seeing, and it's really annoying me. But it'd be that just to get people to go, look, we're all in this together. Sort it out and stop being stupid.
The coronavirus is either you're correct. It's either you believe it or you think I won't say it's a hoax, but you don't believe it. And you get some powerful people on both sides, and that's the thing where the information is so. I won't say it's muddied the information, but it sort of contradicts itself. And we've got people like Donald Trump and Boris Johnson, two of the most powerful people on the planet, and people don't trust them. They don't have any credibility, and that's the thing. Why people do believe Trump, and that's why in America it's probably still the highest death rate in the world. England, are we still top 5 death rate in the world? England,
I'm
I
not
know we're
sure.
the highest in Europe.
Since all that, I've refused to look at any numbers now. I'm trying not to get into it.
I know we're the highest in Europe, so we're probably top 5. So that's the thing where you got two of these imperial countries, and they are completely misjudging what's happened with this virus. And obviously, all these current lockdowns on businesses, we'll be seeing a huge recession over Christmas time as well. So that's why people are sort of pissed off. They're losing their livelihoods, they're losing their jobs. So people are completely annoyed.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the leadership just cares too much about what people think about them, and it's caused them to make a lot of wrong decisions. They should just get on with it and tell people the truth. That's why there's so much mistrust. Always, has been for a long time. I mean, I've got a COVID answer for this next question, to be honest. So, what I was going to ask you, would you have done or said anything differently in hindsight? So, I would have just said, my last words on the COVID episode would have been, focus on things. Don't focus on things you can't control. Just focus on the things you can. Basically.
Yeah, that's all you can do. And the thing is, the message is to most people listening. The most important thing is your health. Obviously, I know people are worried about the jobs, the homes, and putting food on the table. Totally understand that. But the one thing people don't talk about really is staying healthy. And that's the thing. A lot of people are being affected because of their diets, or they're not exercising as much. But I think that's the bit I would say to people: just look after your body better. The way you're eating, the way you're exercising, your mindset. That's the thing. What I tell people differently.
And we're all the way back to Game Changers. About
watch
what you're eating. Watch what you're eating. Yeah. Cool, man. So yeah, I hinted at the technical stuff earlier. Technical stuff. I mentioned to you a couple of months ago, I think it was now, and I mentioned it just before we started. I said I was going to bring this up, and you said, "What was that again?" So Easter eggs in the podcast. We've got some Easter eggs in the podcast. And you're like, "What's an Easter egg?"
Yeah. What is it? You might have told me, but I might have forgotten.
Yeah. So Easter eggs. The term comes from where computer programmers used to hide little things in computer programs, even in things like Microsoft Excel. You used to be able to put codes in, and you could get like a flight simulator, like a very basic, but a little flight simulator in Microsoft Excel, and you could get all the programs to do things. and it came from I think the first one ever came from a game where you literally
Okay.
found this little egg and it did something. I can't remember the details of it. I think they mention it in what's that film? It's got all the 80s referencing.
Tron.
No, not Tron.
No.
As good as Tron. What's that film that came out a couple of years ago? A gay Ready Player One. The Ready Player One film. So I'm pretty sure they reference it in that. I might be wrong. So designers, thanks, Mr. Paris. He says Ready Player One, and we've just been raided by Jonesy. Thanks, Jonesy, for the raid.
Thank you, Jonesy.
And Kay Devlin says my son loves finding them in films. So yeah, we're just talking. We're just reminiscing on previous episodes. We're just talking about. I just mentioned to Carlos that we've got an Easter egg in the. We got an Easter egg in the podcast. So yeah, it's basically something hidden. Films have loads of them. So one famous film I can think of is Close Encounters of the Third Kind. If you look at the ship at the end of the film, you have to turn your head upside down, but you can actually see R2-D2 stuck underneath. So it was a bit of a joke between the two directors, between Steven Spielberg and
George Lucas or something.
George. Thanks. Should have been on the tip of my lips. And George Lucas. Yeah. So there's little things like that. So Easter egg I'm thinking of is when you hear Carlos say, "My name's Carlos, and I believe," you can hear a little jingle, and it's quite sad, this one, because that is that's my cat Cassie, and she died. She died just before lockdown, actually, but she was 21-year-old, so she had a really good innings. But like I say, we came, when Nick and Carlos came round in December to record. I think we came round and we just discussed the podcast, didn't we? And then the next time we came round, we actually had
some notes down and stuff. Yeah,
we actually go at recording it. And at the point you were recording that, I think she jumped up and sat on your knee or something, and the jingle is just still there. And every time I hear it now, I just go, oh, yeah.
Because so the cat loves you, Carlos. She gets jumping on my lap, and I would say, you said, be careful, she's 21 years old. Oh, shit, I don't want to sort of nudge her or kick her by accident. So I was wary where she was all the time. And then every time I speak, she would move, and obviously the bell sound would always reverberate every time I spoke. But yeah, you told me, and I started listening to it. Yeah, it's there. It's there forever.
Once you know about that, you every time at the beginning of the podcast now, every time you hear Carlos's intro, you go, "Oh, there's a little jingle there." You know that's Andy's cat now.
Just walking past.
Yeah. So I was going to chat about some of the technical stuff. I don't know if this might be boring, but yes, I think we might have hinted at it earlier. But things like when it just comes to editing. I mean, now we're doing this live on Twitch. You get a feel of behind the scenes, so you'll hear us rambling. You'll hear us do retakes on certain things. And then if you do listen to the episode back, and you'll realize what difference and what sort of work goes into the editing and stuff. But yeah, literally. So if a podcast is about 50 minutes long, it normally takes me about 2 hours to get through that edit. So the 1.5 hour podcast, I think we we had 2.5 hours worth of material that I condensed down to 1.5 hours, which included sticking jingles and things in it. And it took me well over 6 hours. Well over 6 hours to edit that.
Do you do it over a week or something? Probably doing a couple of hours each night.
No, but we got it out quite quick. I think we recorded it on the Sunday, and I think I got it out on Thursday. But I didn't touch it on Monday or Tuesday night. It was Tuesday. Yeah, it was Tuesday and Wednesday, about 3 hours each night.
That's great. Yeah, because we did it on Sunday, and we all systems crashed. We had to do it again on the Monday, didn't we? So yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we didn't. That's why we didn't finish recording till Monday. Yeah, we had a bit of a technical glitch. So, Gremlins, stay away. So now we've mentioned you. Yeah.
Bobby just said 3 men and a baby, a ghost of a boy hiding in the window. Yeah, he's right about that. Yes. Do you remember? There was a ghost in the background.
Yeah. Is that an Easter egg? Because I think that's one of those accidental ones where they're not actually put in. That wasn't purposely put in. I think that's one of these.
People have just caught out.
Yeah, yeah. Another one of them is where the stormtrooper comes in on Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, and he comes in on the
Okay,
droids and he bangs his head. The door goes up and he comes in and he bangs his head. They thought that take was going to be taken out. I think the stormtrooper was interviewed on I think it's on Amazon. There's a can't remember what the name of it is, but there's basically a documentary about the recordings of the early days, and they found a load of like bit actors that you wouldn't recognize them, that because they were either cut from the film completely or they were in stormtrooper suits and stuff, so you couldn't recognize them. And they were just talking about the filming and what went on. And one of them mentioned, she said, "Yeah, that was me. I banged my head on the door as it come in," and I was like, "Oh, I'm pretty sure they're going to just cut that." And then when he was watching the film, he was like, "Oh my god, they've left it in." So yeah, I think little things like that. But yeah, I think they're more accidental ones. But yeah, that ghost in Three Boys and a Baby, in Three Men and a Baby, yeah, it's a bit weird, that one.
yeah,
But
that was quite. That's one of the videos where I think Three Men and a Baby came out. Is it the 90s? I think that came out. Is it 90s or 80s?
oh,
It was the
maybe
same
like
era.
80s.
Because that was the same era when Poltergeist was about, and people used to talk about Poltergeist and stuff like where they were
Yeah,
seeing things in certain films. So
yeah,
I think I can remember. I was a kid then. I was a kid. So I won't remember it too well, but I do remember that period where people were spotting certain entities or certain dark in films, and people say when Poltergeist came out, people was talking about things where the characters, so the actors were on there, things were happening to them, and then people started moving on to other films as well. So I think that I don't know if it's all connected, all that. I can't remember.
yeah. I think it's on the list for season 2, isn't it? To look
Yeah.
at conspiracies around films and stuff. So yeah, we'll definitely bring that up. So Kay Devlin says Disney do it all the time. There's loads of different characters from other films. Yeah, Disney slip little scenes in as well. You get like Toy Story characters in other movies and things like that. Yeah.
There's one to talk about what Kate Devlin just mentioned there. There's one video I watched where it's quite a horrible thing to say, but when Disney were talking, so all these videos with Disney, but then they started mentioning sexual contents in their films for children. I'll run it by you before I'll upload it onto our social media. But I've got a video, someone put like because it's about 8 minute video. They show all these clips of Disney videos, and
Yeah.
it's sort of like clips. They say the word sex, or it's like a penis shaped in the clouds, and it's all kind of like, and people are just saying this is the way they're trying to sort of trap children into sort of like paedophilia rings and stuff like that. But it's in that 8 minute video. They probably
Oh,
show about 50 different videos on it.
you'll have to save
I've got
that
it
for the
for next season.
for Epstein Part 2.
Yes, that'd
Yeah,
be a good
yeah,
idea on that one.
yeah.
But yeah,
Devlin's aware of that.
yeah, perfect
Yeah,
on that the
cool,
Disney
man.
video. It's about 8 minute video I've got them.
Yeah, Carlos. Then, how long do you reckon you spend researching these things, or do you not? Because I mean, I'll speak for Nick because he often tells us, and we often joked about it before we recorded. But Nick literally just used to come on the podcast and wing it every single time. He wouldn't research anything, but and he would just fly by the shirt of his pants, basically. But uh, if that's the saying, I think I've just merged two sayings. But yeah, yeah. How long do you reckon you spend researching? A
Well,
long time, or
a lot of these subjects I've known about because I've read books on them, so it's perfect for me. So people have always said to me, "Why reading these books, Carlos? No one's it doesn't. You're never going to talk about it. You're never going to study it." I found it fascinating. So most of these subjects we've talked about, I knew about. I've read books on them. I've watched documentaries on them. I've spoken to people about. The only one I struggled with was, I mentioned Game Changer, but all the others I just topped up on my knowledge. So I've read probably, I don't know how many books I've read, but I've probably hundreds and hundreds of books on different subjects. So yeah, a lot of these I just top up on. But yeah, if it's a subject I'm not sure about, I need to top up. I could spend 2 or 3 days looking at it, even a whole week sometimes, every day, 3 or 4 hours every day on my phone,
yeah.
on traveling to work. So yeah.
At a minimum, I have to get a night to go through some of the stuff. Again, a lot of these things I've talked about with other people previously, heard it discussed elsewhere. So I've just gone and refreshed or looked at the research again, and yeah, and basically just so it's fresh in my mind before we talk the next night. So yeah, normally I do that, but some of them, I mean the backmasking one, obviously that was a lot longer. I was ripping sound files from places and reversing them and preparing them just for the recording. So yeah.
So the things like you mentioned, sort of like the psychedelics, the Operation Paperclip. I've known him for like 20 plus years. Are We Alone since I was a kid. So yeah, the ones like COVID. That's just obviously that's in our sort of like every time you switch the TV on or look at your social media, there's news feeds. But yeah, I'd probably say it was 2 or 3 days. But a lot of it's just topping up on information I already knew. So yeah. That's why the podcast is perfect. We can all these things. There's hundreds and hundreds of things I want to talk about, and that's why we've got season 2. We've got a list of all the things we want to talk about, and obviously what people ask us to talk about as well.
Yeah. One thing we have to sort out for season 2 as well is the storage and bandwidth situation as well, because we don't know what's going to happen with that. At the moment, we're coping with bandwidth, but if we get a spurt of people joining the podcast, I don't know, it might run out, and we have to do something about it. So
hope there's an offer like a Black Friday offer or something.
Oh yeah, a Black Friday offer or something like that. Yeah, because we're already on a paid tier as well. So the other options is we archive these podcasts. I mean, they're all available on YouTube anyway. And basically, we just record like a little 1 minute intro to say the podcast's been archived. Go to YouTube to listen to it, maybe, and that then frees up the storage because you can get rid of your files and hopefully the bandwidth as well for season 2. So yeah, I think we just need to address that issue when we start getting issue. Yeah, address that issue when we get the issue. But yeah, it's.
I'm sure there'll be good offers in November. Yeah, there'll be good offers in November.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. It will be coming. I mean, I'm trying to think about how big the files are. But
depends
yeah,
on they're all it depends how big they are.
Yeah, it depends how long we chat and stuff. So anybody in the chat room at the moment got any topics they want to see in season 2? Let us know in the chat. We'll add them to the list.
We've got at least 20 plus, haven't we, to go through?
Yeah, we've got 20, so we could do another season of 20 again. But if we end up dropping any, or if anyone mentions anything, we can put that higher up the list to make sure we get it covered if we know people want it.
It'll be a coronavirus part 5 and 6 and 7, the way the world's going at the moment.
Yeah. So I've got no more random questions or anything for you, Carlos. So I'm just going to push social media. I might just edit this in earlier on. So reviews and messages really help us and get us noticed. Right. Reviews and messages really help us and get us noticed and get other people to find the podcast. But word of mouth is the key. If you know anyone that's into podcasts, why not recommend us? Also, reviews are absolutely great. Even bad reviews are good. They keep us motivated and keep us going. Basically, it makes us feel like we're actually doing something that people want to listen to. When it goes quiet, I sometimes wonder why we're doing it. Twitch helps as well because you like the chat room interaction.
It's very interactive. I love that Twitch thing.
Yeah, so that's cool. Is Bobby, are you still on? Because you asked us a question the other night and we couldn't answer it. So now is the perfect time if you want to ask us anything. If you want to, I can't remember. Do you remember what your question was about?
About the moon. He's talking about the moons.
I'll let Bobby give him a chance.
I sort of answered.
Can you remember what the question was?
I think he was asking me about.
What was your question about the moon? It was about something about looking at it. Has anyone noticed the moon lately? You said.
He said, "Do you like full moons and stuff?" And I said, "Yes, I like the full moon." And then mentioned that there's a harvest moon coming and also the hunter moon. But yeah, it was actually just it threw me off. What a great question! I think it's when your systems went down. I sort of answered it in the chat room, but I don't know if it's sort of like if you got the answer.
Yeah.
The face.
The face has changed. The face. Oh, the face of the moon. Has it? I haven't noticed that. I mean, I look at the moon all the time. Because I see it through the back window all the time because it's south facing. I love absolutely looking at the night sky. Did you know? Talking of 2020, the next full moon, Carlos, is the 31st of October, which is
Yes.
Halloween,
Is
and it's 2020, and we know what year this has been.
So it could be
vampires, werewolves, the lot. Ritual
Here's
sacrifices.
Here's one for you. So do you think lots of people now are sort of putting documentaries out on regarding alien invasions and are we alone? Do you think the government are slowly drip feeding information to make an announcement over the next 6 months to a year? Slowly drip feeding information?
Nah.
You don't think so?
No, we mentioned that on the Are We Alone, Aren't We? Where people,
Yeah.
I mean, someone pointed me at a COVID thing, some video where, oh, Andy, if you don't think COVID's a hoax, watch this video. And I watched it, and at the start of the video, the guy was referencing the thing that I debunked, which was the way, not NSA, the Pentagon have made an announcement about unearthly spacecraft or something or other. I can't remember exactly. You'll have to go and watch the episode, but listen to the episode. But I was like, nah, I've pretty much debunked this. The Pentagon have said nothing of the sort. Therefore, the rest of the video you're about to say is obviously also going to be bullshit and badly researched, and you're just repeating stuff that you've seen on the internet.
But just go back to Bobby Shafter just said regarding the moon. Have you noticed any full moons in the last 6?
How many bright full moons in the last 6? Yeah, I agree, Bobby. There has been a lot. It has been noticeable. I think. I mean, it's lockdown helping us notice these things. Have we had fortunate weather on the days that we've had full moons? I mean, because your full moons over 3 or 4 nights sometimes. I know it's not full, but to the naked eye, it's pretty much full. So, you know what
that night Bobby mentioned it. It was a full moon that night. It was a full moon.
It? Yeah. You know what Britain's like for looking up. I mean, I keep getting alerts on my phone about the ISS going over, and Lily's only seen it the once. So I was like, oh yeah, Lily, let's look out. And we've gone outside and gone, oh, it's cloudy. Even though the app says, oh, tonight's a good chance of seeing it, and it's clear. We've gone out and gone, no, we're not seeing anything. It's clouds. So but I think during the start of lockdown, it was really good. It was really good for that. And I noticed a lot. I'd say I notice them pretty much every time I see them. I notice it in the day a lot as well. It was on the school run not this morning, yesterday. Yesterday morning, and it was or was that when it was really raining? Whatever morning it was, where it wasn't chucking down this week. Blue sky and the moon. So I like seeing it in the day as well.
In the comments in the chat room, should say they're saying that the cycle affects people's moods. That's correct. That's where the word lunacy comes from. Lunatic, lunar. So yeah, you're right. That's why it does affect people's. I'm not a scientist. I'm sure there's people who can sort of explain it, but for some reason, with our forefathers and ancestors have always said the moon does affect people, and yeah, that's where the word lunacy and lunatic comes from. Yeah, that's correct.
That probably goes back to that was Kay Devlin that said that. That probably goes. Mr. Paris also says, yeah, don't hospitals also report more incidents when there's a full moon? I've heard that stat as well. Could be true.
Do you think it could be some kind of gravitational pull or something on people's
the
energy?
moon is the moon. You know, our tides are because of the moon.
Yes.
You know, our bodies.
So it's like one big giant ladle, isn't
it? Our body are 98% water or higher, whatever it is. So Yeah, maybe it does have effect. Yeah, who knows? There you go. There's a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy. I don't know. Maybe it is. There's one I'll get behind. I won't debunk that until I go and
Something
look at
to
the
do with energy.
science. Until I go and look at the science, nothing to do with energy. I'm not on no energy and wavelengths. No, I'm not having that. Oh, what about here's a moon one for you guys. Here's a moon one. Apparently, if you put two objects outside, and it's a full moon, or there's moon and the moonlight, and one is in moonlight and one is not in moonlight, so it's in shadow. The one that is in moonlight is colder than the thing that's in shadow. There can be two identical objects. They can be 6 inches apart, except you put a piece of card up over one, so it's in the shadow of the moon. And apparently, don't know how true that is. I don't actually think that is true. I think possibly the reason why the one that is not as cold is because when I have seen them do it, they don't just stick something up; it's something up and over it, so it's completely like covered over. It's not like touching it, but it's like in its own little shed or bus shelter. And obviously, if you have got any heat, the thing directly
Can't
over
penetrate it.
it's not that it can't penetrate, but if you've got any residual heat from the day on the object that's not covered at all, that's just going to rise up and go into the atmosphere because heat rises. Whereas the one that's covered, it's like if you were to stand under a bush shelter, Carlos, you'd be warmer than if you were stood outside the bush shelter because A, it's protecting you from some of the wind or breeze, and B, it's trapping some of that air from going up into the atmosphere.
That makes sense. Yeah, that does make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my personal thing on it. But that's interesting that there was people trying to push that as if to say it meant. I can't remember what they were saying. It meant something to do. It was flat earthers. It was something to do with this is proof that the moon is a projection and it's projecting light at us, but the light is some sort of cold ray and the sun is some sort of heat ray. And it was like, oh, shut up.
So that's the the flat earthers. It's like no, but it's actually what you just said there. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Move on that one because I've never heard about that. I've never even read about that, but the way you explained it makes sense. So
Carlos, don't Google it. You're going to go down a rabbit hole. Yeah, I'm just going to say, don't Google it.
I won't Google it.
Go down a rabbit hole.
The group says something to do with energy, and Bobby says, if it can move the oceans, I'm sure it can give your blood a bit of a tingle. Yeah, he's 100 correct. No, it can do because we don't know the nature or science can't explain anything, or not anything. So science can't explain everything, and there's certain things we just can't explain. We just can't explain. It's not because we don't know. It's just down to our ignorance. I'm sure later on in 1,000 years' time, we'll go, that's how we explain that.
When we've run out of real stuff to research, they'll go, oh, what was all that crap people were talking about back in the early 21st century?
In 2020.
I've got another little Easter egg. I'll probably edit this bit and cut it back in earlier. I've got another little Easter egg I've just thought of, Carlos, and that is all our outtakes and stuff at the end of the podcast.
Oh,
we
yes.
We didn't have them on the earlier ones, did we? So, I wonder if people apparently, with podcasts, apparently a lot of people never listen to the end. When I listen to podcasts, I used to be a big podcast listener. I used to be a big podcast listener before I before COVID stopped all the driving because I do all my listening in the car. But because I was listening in the car, I would definitely always listen to the end because if you had unleft podcasts, it would just start playing random bits at the end when you sort of get to the end of your playlist. It sort of goes back and goes, oh, he's not listened to 30 seconds here, I'll play it. So yeah, I always listen all the way to the end. But
that's a hint, people. That's a little hint.
Yeah, but I think people do a lot of just scrubbing. They just get so far and they just go, oh, I'm not going to listen to it anymore. They've covered the main bit. So it's a shame because there's no adverts at the end. There's no adverts anywhere.
So, but to the people listening, that's a little hint, especially from episode 10 onwards. That's a little hint. I'll leave it for you. I wasn't going to say it, but do you know what?
Right, that's not getting into the podcast. That's just for our Twitch viewers. That. Okay, Devlin, have we done the Mandela effect? Sorry if you've. I'm late to the party. Yes, we have. Episode. Let me look at what was the episode list again. 10 was backmasking. Mandela effect was either 11 or 9. One sec, I will tell you. It was.
Was it after or before? I can't remember.
No. Oh, it's episode 7. 007 Mandela effect.
Okay.
Yeah, you might enjoy that one. But yeah, definitely backmasking. A lot of people go backmasking. What's that? But I think that was a fun one. So, yeah, cool. Yeah, Mr. Paris says the body is 70% water. Yeah, I definitely think it's more than 70%. But
and it matches the oceans. The oceans cover the Earth 70%. Excuse me. So yeah, it matches the Earth. It does. The oceans cover 70%.
I think it's something like 98%. Our body is H2O when you break it down. Backmasking. It's back BACK. Backmasking. Backmasking is where you. We couldn't think of another name for it. That's what the industry call it. But it's basically where musicians record music backwards and sneak it in, so you get hidden messages when you play the record backwards. So we go a little bit into the history, and we've got some good examples of it. But also, I play them forward on the podcast as well, so some of them are decent tunes. Carlos particularly likes the Britney Spears ones.
Yeah, you were good. The Beatles, the Rolling Stones, and Led Zeppelin, they were the obvious ones. But yeah, the Britney Spears completely threw me off. But I like Britney Spears. Who doesn't? Yeah, but yeah, I do like ones.
Mr. Paris says we need a sponsor selling Sam to counter your fact checking Fran to sell the free Easter eggs at the end. Yeah. Fact checking Fran. Oh, that's another technical one. Fact checking Fran. I introduced fact checking Fran because we hadn't corrected ourselves, unfortunately, in one of the podcasts on some stats that went out. So I introduced fact checking Fran. She's not been out that many times. I'm
always right.
You're clearly not, because I've had to get fact checking Fran on the thing to sort you out. But yeah. So and most of the cutting room floor is Carlos's waffles. So I think we've been lucky tonight.
Yeah, because tonight it's obviously when it's live, you got to be careful what you say. When it's because when it was just you, Nick, and I, we'll just go for hours, and I can just say that last 27 minutes, forget that. You go, oh fucking hell. But yeah, Nick said some things which are completely off the scale. You said things off the scale, but when it's live, you got to be careful, because there's loads of stuff I really want to say, but do you really want to say that live? And then, because obviously you can't justify it later on. And with the current climate, you can get yourself into a lot of trouble nowadays. A lot of trouble.
Yeah, I mean, you have to worry about, I mean, I'm starting a new job, what if they looked at my social media and gone, oh, Andy does a podcast, let's listen to that. I've not started a new job yet. They might.
Andy's a flat earther. Andy's a flat earther.
No, they might go. Do we really want him working for us? So hopefully, because I'm the sensible one, I'll be all right. You, Carlos, you'll never get another job.
Oh no, I'll have to. I'll have to work in some kind of science lab or something. People doing experiments on me or something like that.
I thought that's how you were born. You're a bit like Homelander, aren't you? Out of The Boys.
Oh, what's that? Oh, The
Boys
Amazon.
On. Yeah.
I've not watched season 2 yet, so I'm gonna have to wait for that one to start.
No spoilers, chat room. No spoilers. I've got 2 episodes to go. But yeah, absolutely loving it. Yeah, I think the last episode might be out now, Carlos. So you might be able to just blitz it, which is what I was trying to do, but I just started watching it.
That's what I prefer. I don't like watching one and have to wait to the following week for the next one. I like just blitz it straight away in 2 or 3 days, and you get the full fat version then.
Yeah. What's another one? So episode 16 of season 10 of The Walking Dead came out this weekend. It was on UK telly a couple of nights ago. Yeah, so but literally they've made us wait something like 10 months for that. I don't know why, because normally they'll do eight episodes, have a break, have 8 episodes. It doesn't feel like you're waiting so long. And while there is a break, there's now a couple actually of side shows to The Walking Dead, so you can always watch one of them while you're waiting. So it doesn't feel like you're waiting that long. But then they got to episode 15, and then there was just an announcement saying, yeah, you might have to wait for episode 16. We're not sure when it's going to come, but when it is aired, it'll come out. So I'm like Googling it, going, what's going on? And yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. Don't know. Mr. Paris might know. I know he likes Walking Dead.
I've never watched it, so am I missing anything on that one? Walking Dead.
It's. I mean, I'm not into zombie films. There's a few I like. But I started watching Walking Dead when it first came out, and I went, this is a series. How's a zombie series supposed to work? And actually, it is pretty. See, the first few seasons are pretty gripping, and I've just stuck with it through its high and lows, and it's had some lows. I think at the moment, hopefully Mr. Paris will probably agree with me. I don't know if he's actually up to date, because I think he fell a bit out of love with it and needs to catch up. But it's I think they're a bit too scared to kill off the big characters now, because what they weren't afraid of doing off early is you would get to know a character, and you would just go, oh yeah, this is really good, or I really like that person, or I like that person, and then bang, without warning, they just killed them off. And it seems like now they're just teasing you with possible, oh, we've put one of your popular characters in a dangerous situation with a cliffhanger, and then next thing they get, it's a really easy way that they get out of this dangerous situation. And I think the script writing's got lazy. Yeah, no, it's a bit like the way Game of Thrones turned as well. The last season of Game of Thrones, you could tell that they'd lost a way, really.
To burn the cash, they can't be asked, kind of thing.
It's not the cast. It's not the cast. It's the writing.
It's the cast. They've earned the money. They don't need it. They don't, because you need to be motivated to keep writing and writing, don't you? You need to come up. It's difficult to keep coming up with different ideas every week in, week out, especially with these people who are creating characters. And that's why a lot of these people keep the same characters. Look at Coronation Street. They've had some of the same characters. I don't watch it, but I know they've had characters for 10, 20, 30 years. Well, probably, I don't know. I don't watch it, but I know there's quite a few characters been in it for a while.
I mean, I don't mind that, but with Walking Dead, they put these characters in a situation where you think, right, they've literally had it here, and then next thing, there's a handle just come out of nowhere that they've purposely edited so you couldn't see that person in the background, and then pull them to safety or something like that. That's me trying to just, I've just made that up. I'm just trying to, I don't want any spoilers. So, but yeah, going back to the chat, Mr. Paris says season finale is this week, of The Boys season 2, that is. And he says, he stopped watching in August last year. He needs to catch up on the Walking Dead stuff. Kay Devlin says, it's like that with Supernatural. I've not watched that, mate. I binge watched it back in lockdown, but now it's on hold, and it's the last ever season. Oh no, it's like the writer's strike that knackered a lot of stuff. Lost, there's an example. Do you know what? Lost got a lot to say on Lost, Bobby Shafter.
Yeah, I agree. Lost was meant to be 3 seasons, but it was so successful, season 1, they extended it to 6 seasons, I think they did.
And they fucking ruined it. And so because they had to get content, it was. So I watched season 1 and I went, that was good. Me and the wife
brilliant. It was brilliant.
Yeah, it was. Me and the wife started watching season 2, and we got about halfway through, and I went, it's not going quite the same. It's because they'd had all this season 1 was brilliant. We need more of this. We need more of this. And then I literally
time stretched it.
For the next 7 years, I listened to people at lunch, at work, have you seen Lost? And I would just sit there going, no, I don't watch it. And I would listen to them argue, show their disappointment, their frustration. And when the finale came, I had such a big grin on my face, because they're like, what are you grinning at? I went, because I'm sat here and I knew I did the right thing by stopping watching it. I stopped watching it and I just went, right, let's just put a line under it. And they were all sat there going, but why did they do that? And why did it? So what was the ending about? What was the? And it was all a dream. And, it was like, oh. And I went, yeah, that's because money influenced it and money ruined it.
And people said, listen, you got a big buzz going. You got 3 seasons because everyone's commissioned for 3 seasons, and they'd extend it to 6, and that was clearly it was all down to money, all about money.
Wasn't Lost the same as the same guys that did Matrix? The guys that had the sex changes.
I don't know. That I don't know. Someone in the chat will have to confirm that.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm thinking that. But Matrix did the same. Matrix 1 was really good. 2, it was going somewhere, and even Lawrence Fishburne, who plays
Morpheus.
I was going to say MacGyver because it began with an M. But even Lawrence Fishburne said he came out and he went 2 out of 5 stars after going to the preview. He was not happy at all with the way they ended it. So
I think they're doing another Matrix, aren't they? Though they are doing another Matrix. They're doing another Matrix.
I didn't know they were. I didn't know. So.
But the
right. Sorry, Carlos. I'm gonna have to.
No, I was just going to say. I'm just saying. I think they are doing another Matrix, but where can you go from there? Not anywhere.
Yeah. So right, I was sorry, man. I was just gonna say we need to wrap up, but
no worries.
Yeah, no, I think it's been a good one. Thanks for all the interaction on the chat room. Okay, Devlin's never watched Game of Thrones. Yeah.
I've never watched it.
Watch the first 5 and then don't bother. In fact, just watch the first. Just watch the first season. It's pretty good. Yeah, or wait for him to come out of the books. Mr. Paris, I think he did Lost. Isn't yeah.
Yeah, I did Lost as well. So be it.
Yeah. Cool. All right, I'm gonna hit stop on the podcast recording, and then I'll kill the Twitch feed. In fact, on Twitch, I am going to actually see if we can do a raid